Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Welcome everybody to the Giver Marketing Network, and also welcome to our Kingdom Warriors. We're going to be diving into the Giver Marketing Blueprint. It's a marketing blueprint for your business or nonprofit, or even for your personal brand, to be able to enhance that to another level so that you can get greater success in your marketing, communications, and media efforts. So here we are. Let's go. Christine Deane is in the house. Here we go. Let's jump right into it, Christine. I know that sometimes we like to share our stories in the beginning. I think we're going to pepper that in to some of our conversation today. And I look forward to sharing story at the right time. There's actually a section within the branding piece that we're going to be letting you know how we share story and how powerful it is for your brand. And so at that point, we'll share a little bit of our story. And then toward the end, we'll have a roundtable discussion with some of our other team members. And we're just going to have some fun today, enhancing and improving your marketing efforts and your strategy to another level. Christine Deane is a certified marketing coach. We'll talk about that here in a minute within the Giver Marketing Network. She's been a coach for a long time. She's the networking diva. So we're excited to be able to co-lead this presentation today. I'm going to bring up the slides, Christine, while you share a little bit about what we're going to be doing today as well. Here we go.
Well, I'm excited because I love when we talk about the blueprint. You know, when it comes to marketing, a lot of times business owners can get overwhelmed. They're like, oh my goodness, there's so much to do. How do I know what to do? Where do I even start? Right. And it gets confusing sometimes. So it's nice when you have a go-to blueprint that says, all right, this check, right? And you can go through those steps and you don't feel quite as overwhelmed. So get those basics in place, right? It's all about getting solid on the basics. And then you can get into some of the fun stuff that, there it is.
Brilliant at the basics. I love that you said that, Christine. That's so good. Branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing are the 4 pieces we're going to cover today. So quickly, you can go back, rewind the video, and go back to the different parts of the video, pause, take notes, put notes in the comments, even on the platform that you're watching this on. That lets us know that you're finding this to be valuable. We're really excited to help you today. So here we go. This is your blueprint for marketing success. Ultimately, we are a community of marketing professionals. Christine Deane and myself are part of that community. We happen to be some of the founding members of this community. And so we're excited to be able to introduce you to other marketing talent even later today during this presentation. I'm Timothy Morgan, your founder and CEO of the Giver Marketing Network. Here's Christine Deane, as you see on the screen. Look her up, check out some of her work. She is the networking diva and a certified marketing coach within our ecosystem. Our weekly sessions are on Tuesdays, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, if you want to catch them live. And we discuss all different types of topics from different presenters. What we're talking about today is more than leads, okay? So there's some great professionals out there that they at times they'll focus in on and zero in on getting you leads. Okay, this is more of the foundational pieces so you can handle those leads coming in and generate some of your own conversations, appointments. It's much more than just the list of leads that might come in on a spreadsheet. Okay, this is way more impactful long term for you. Okay, so mission, we bring positive attention to causes and companies doing good in the world, and we're a coaching centric organization. So if you need a coach, reach out to us and we'll be able to draw out that genius within your brand, within your company, organization. And we know that coaching produces multiple times the investment that you put into it, as far as time or finances. Okay, so we want to help you get moving more quickly. It's either time or money that you're going to be spending to get to where you want to go, and we want to help you by coaching you along the way and making great decisions. Okay, our tribe is the most trusted network of marketing specialists on the planet. We have 100+ members that are ready to serve you. For the highest rated and reviewed, you could just look up Giver Marketing Network, Giver Marketing, look up some of our names, and you'll see that associated with Giver Marketing as well. Gosh, Christine, I love bragging about others who are bragging about us. When people say kind words online, you just always want to just say thank you, right?
Absolutely. And it's always great to see we have such a diverse network that whatever it is somebody needs help in, we probably have a specialist in that area. And that's what I love about our group.
Yep. And the group is able to serve clients as we build these dream teams. So depending on the industry, the location, the style, the preferences of that client, we can build just a perfect team for them. And we have others waiting in the wings, ready to go if we need to shift gears at all or add to the team. And so these are just some kind words that have come across. If you Google us, look at our Google reviews, our Facebook review, kind words that are happening all over the internet, you'll see phrases like this. Our core values are collaboration, results, efficiency, attitude, transparency, and high levels of energy. So we're going to bring you our A game, and these are the core values that we kind of live by, play by, and work by. So here we go. Who benefits from this training? It's you. You're here. You're watching this. You're hungry. You're coachable. You're passionate. You want to accomplish those goals you have within your cause or company, doing good in the world in some way, shape, or form. But you might be frustrated with marketing. Maybe it doesn't produce the expected results. Maybe you've gotten ripped off by somebody who says one thing and does another thing, or over promises and under delivers. I always like to say, hey, let's promise and then over deliver. We don't necessarily need to under promise. We can if we want, but at least let's focus on what we can promise, what we know we can deliver, and then over deliver if at all possible. So that's what we love to do, even in this online experience that you're having right now, this coaching experience where we're presenting something that can really help you reflect on what you're doing, make some adjustments, make those improvements. Good information plus application equals what? Christine, how many times have we seen it when a client doesn't have good information? They're going off of old or antiquated or incorrect information. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's keeping up with what's going on in marketing, right? It's always changing, constant state of flux, right? So you want to have a coach in your corner that's going to be able to help keep you up to date on what's going on.
That's right. That's right. And listen, if you can't afford a full team or to hire 3 or 4 different people full time, start with a coach. They'll help you build a team together, and we'll make sure you get the right information. So that way we're not trying to sell you something you don't need. We're your coach, right? We're there for you. So, and we have a handful of coaches that just do amazing work within the Giver Marketing Network, depending on your industry and some other things. All things being equal, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. Write that down. Put it in the comments. Know, like, and trust. This is a phrase that's common in the industry now because Bob Berg made it fairly common to make a statement like this so that you can remember people need to know, like, and trust our brand. And that's really, really important. Go check out the Go Giver. It's a great resource. We always like to give honor where honor is due, and Bob Berg has gone before many of us and set the stage. And by the way, people pay more to those they respect. So you want to get those kind words going, those testimonies going, the referrals going, and you'll have a blast. All right, so let's dive in, Christine. That's kind of the primer, the warming up part of the blueprint, where we're just kind of getting our mind right. We're getting our notepads out. We're getting ready to type in the comments. Type your notes in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. This is super fun. Let's just go on a ride together. So after coaching and collaborating with thousands of causes and companies over the last decade, a pattern emerged. And I know, Christine, as you've coached and been a consultant even for different clients, you start to see patterns, right? And so we saw some really, really clear patterns. If companies and causes did these 4 things, they dramatically increased their results, the attention on their organization, the leads coming in, the appointments coming in, the positive activities, people showing up to events online and in person. If you can check these 4 boxes, you're way ahead of anybody else doing anything like you in the industry. Okay, so we want to make sure and get you what you need today to be able to be that top 5-10% of your industry. Okay, so let's do that. Here we go. Now listen, ahead of time, you're going to have 4 micro assignments. We're going to challenge you to post those in the Giver Marketing group. So you go to givermarketing.com/group. That's our website /group. And it'll direct you over to a private Facebook group. And we'll let you in, and then you can go ahead and post your action assignments, your micro assignments. And we love hearing how people are sharing their stories and using the tools we're about to show you. These tools and these action assignments, these micro assignments, can really get you moving, especially if you feel like you're stuck in your business and kind of plateaued and you want to go to that next level. These micro assignments will help you get unstuck. Okay. All right, Christine, let's define marketing. You ready?
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Right? Marketing can be so overwhelming for so many people, and trying to figure out, what does it exactly mean? And a lot of times we run into problems between marketing and sales, and so many people think it's the same exact thing, and that's not how we do it here in Giver Marketing. So Tim, I'm going to throw it to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you Google the word sales, sometimes it gives you this general, like, any type of activity where people are interested or buying your services, and it's very vague, like almost like 30,000 foot definition. And we're okay with that in some conversations, but when we get into the strategy and the details of your organization, we have to pull marketing and sales apart and make sure that we're clear on what activity we're doing in this business development world, which is essentially marketing plus sales, plus sometimes a few other things. But bottom line is, marketing, we define it as everything that happens before the decision meeting. So pre-sales communication would be a running definition of marketing for our training purposes today. Okay, it's very, very clear delineation. When you have a commitment meeting, they know that they're coming to that meeting ready to make a decision, a sales meeting, if you will. Then everything that happened before that is definitely marketing. Okay, we're not trying to close too early. We're a marketing organization, so we emphasize the marketing moments, and you'll see more about that in a minute. All right, so we're going to cover branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing. And there's a reason we're doing this in that order, as we have this running definition of pre-sales communication. Everything that happens before that decision meeting, we consider marketing activity. Okay. So with that being said, when you're tracking your metrics, when you're tracking your numbers, when you're tracking different activities within your company or organization, marketing generally circles around either attention, conversations, clicks, comments, interactions, engagement of some kind. Whereas sales, you're tracking what? It's basically one thing. Did they buy something? Is there a transaction? That's why we like to pull these apart, because if you treat marketing like sales and sales like marketing, you won't make much money. Okay. But if you separate them and understand what you're doing at the right timing, it's like a beautiful journey. It's like a buyer's journey from heaven. They just end up walking with you, and it's just so natural and organic. And they're going, why didn't you ask me earlier? Like, let's go. Let's get working together. And this is what we want. We want that marketing funnel dropping into a sales experience that they're welcoming, they're excited about, they're interested in. There's nothing worse than trying to sell somebody who hasn't been warmed up. They don't even know that they want what you have. Like they're not even they're just confused. Like you don't want to try to sell to somebody who's unsure or confused. That's really important. So all right, so and by the way, that's why some of our sales conversions are low. It's because our marketing efforts haven't been fine-tuned. So let's get you to that red zone if you're talking American football, okay? That's that 20-yard line. You're about to score. You're about to punch it into the end zone. Well, sales is when you punch it into the end zone. That's the very last piece. There are some exceptions where you can throw Hail Marys and you can score other different ways. But generally speaking, what you're trying to do as a sports fan in football is you want your team to get to that red zone. You want to get them really close and then punch it in, whatever it takes. So prospecting is technically marketing in this analogy, not sales. Okay?
Absolutely. Let me give a clear example. All right. When you walk into a restaurant, you're probably hungry. You're ready to be sold to.
That's right.
Whatever it took for them to get you to walk in the door, that was your marketing, right? So
yeah. That's a great example. I love the restaurant, especially when we're doing live trainings and coaching sessions and group. I love the food analogies, Christine. Keep them coming. I love that. All right. So because I get hungry and then it gets me in that mind of like, yeah, I got to talk to people who are hungry. All right. Who is your who? What is your ideal customer's big pain point? And like you just said, Christine, if they're hungry or they're going to be hungry, let's make sure and stay in front of them and make sure they're the right people that would want to come visit our restaurant. You don't want to market to somebody, using that analogy. You don't want to communicate or market to somebody that's 500 miles outside of your area when you're a local restaurant. Okay. Now, when you have multiple locations, that's different, but I'm talking about that one local space. So who is your who? Who are you called to? We frequent a restaurant right down the road over here, and they're just one of the best in the whole region. We happen to live right near the restaurant. So of course we walk there, we drive there, we'll find ways to get there. But because when we're hungry, we know that they have a quality experience waiting to happen. So we want to know the emotions that you're addressing for your target audience. Who is your who is another way to say who are you called to serve? What's their persona? What do they like? What do they dislike? What do they need? What are they aware of as far as their needs? The psychographics, the emotions, the background, all the information you can gather, which you can gather a lot online nowadays, about people that you want to talk to, and just let them know that you're there to serve and help. Ultimately, the reason most businesses don't make it is because they're the best kept secret in their industry or region. Write that down. The reason most businesses don't make it is because they're the best kept secret in their industry or their region. And so if you're struggling with being that light that's hidden under a basket, like nobody can find you, like there's you have the light, but you have something they need, but they can't find you. So let's make sure and uncover you with some branding activity. Christina, you ready? Section number 1.
All right, let's do it.
Go. The networking diva has to have her brand in place. Why? Because it can increase your revenue by up to 33%. Just that alone says we got to focus on this, right, Christine? What thoughts do you have around branding and how it's helped your clients and how it's helped others that you've been able to partner with?
Branding is everything, right? Like you just talked about the who. And if you're not projecting to the right people of who you are, they're like, who cares? Moving on now, right? So if you want to stand out to your ideal client, you want to grab their attention, you got to be saying something that they want to hear, right? Are your values in alignment? Who are you? And are you representing yourself well? And a lot of times people want to just jump right into business and not take the time it takes to build out, what is my brand? Who are my people? How can I help them? Why are they going to choose me over anyone else?
Sometimes even the word brand is a little confusing. So we brought Michelle Van Otten, one of her quotes in, because she's kind of an extended friend of the network. We really appreciate the work she's done over the years. And she says your brand represents the sum total of experiences that are found in that marketplace. They kind of pull everything together and kind of make sure that your reputation is properly reflected, reflective of your brand, of your company, of your organization. We want to make sure that when people experience you, it's a holistic understanding of how they're absorbing your brand. Okay. Another way to think about it is, if marketing is communication, then your brand is how people feel when experiencing your communication or company or cause. So we want to make sure that we're assessing that. Is our brand, and by the way, a brand is more than a logo and a Facebook, a Facebook post. Okay, that's more. There's much more than some basic imagery. Now it includes all the imagery, all the written communication, all the auditory communication. It includes all the communication that brings that first impression. Everything around your brand should be evaluated from a kind of an auditory and visual. And all. We're going to get into that in a minute, but we want to make sure that your brand is like, you're dressed for success. You're sharp. You're looking good. You're confident, online, offline, like you're good to go, right? And oftentimes we'll ask business owners, team members, other professionals, power partners we work with, okay, so what's maybe a little brand distinctive that kind of separates you from the crowd? We're all people of clarity, creativity, and consistency, especially in the marketing and communication space. But which one of these stands out? And I can tell you when I talk to Christine Deane, or when I talk to some of our other team members, certain things pop out based on the interaction. There's a style, there's a superpower that starts developing. Like, I love talking to various members who have this superpower that's really evident. And sometimes it's in the area of creativity. Sometimes it's in the area of clarity. Sometimes it's in the area of consistency. And by the way, those are my top, those are my three in a particular order. That's what I love to do, is to bring some juice to the conversation from a creativity and brainstorming standpoint. And then we bring clarity, and then we get that consistency going. I prefer doing it that way. Whereas somebody else might say, hey, let's get a schedule put together, then define, who we're kind of reaching and bring some clarity to that. And then let's get creative. I like to do things in a different direction. But listen, whatever your brand is, embrace your superpowers. Make sure you know who you are. It's kind of like know thyself. Well, know your brand. It's a reflection of your company. If a company is like a child, then figure out the greatest details you can about that child and then present that to the world. And so if a brand is like a baby, then present that well. Okay. So let's evaluate, Christine. I mean, you walk into a restaurant, you said the restaurant earlier, you walk into a restaurant, you're immediately reflecting on the things that you've seen beforehand, right? You've seen maybe a little post on a social media platform, or you heard somebody saying something about the restaurant at an event you were at, or something is happening where you drove by it and you saw a sign. There's all sorts of ways that you can kind of get your first impression. And how many have driven by a restaurant or seen a picture of a restaurant? It just doesn't quite look clean and crisp and kept up. you might try it eventually if you're desperate, but it's not going to be your first choice, right? At that point. And then
You
once
really, yeah, you can harm your brand. You really need to be careful with your brand because everything you do or say has an impact on that. So, and we actually have a whole training, just an hour training on branding, sensory branding. So go back to our YouTube channel and check it out. And you can find that on there because you can dive in deep on all of this, right? And I know we're just doing an overview today, but we want you to get thinking about this, right? What is my brand and what kind of messages am I putting out just with this, with the sensory?
Yep. So all businesses engage with sight and sound, but not all will be evaluating the smell, taste, and touch. So if you're a physical organization, whether you're a church or a restaurant or something with a, a brick and mortar experience, you're going to definitely want to evaluate all five of these. And quite frankly, the modern technology is coming into play now where all five of these are going to be experienced by just about every business. So this is something you want to evaluate. Like when you walk into the restaurant and if the food smells really good, you're going to get more hungry and probably order more food, right? So when you start tasting the appetizer, you're going to probably get excited about the main course. Like when a waitress or a waiter seated at a table and there's cracks in the booth and there's no, it just doesn't feel right. It's cold. It doesn't work. You're going to remember that. So that's all part of the brand. Even just how the menus feel in your hand. Like all of these things are very important. And like Christine said, there's a whole training on just that. But hey, don't forget about video. This is important. This is sight and sound all mixed together for a very interesting experience. There's nothing better than watching somebody talk about what they do to solve a problem through video or showing their restaurant or showing their location or talking about the problem they solve or sharing their story, which is what we're going to challenge you to do in just a minute. So remember, video, 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 video. Have some fun with video. That's why we're here today. We want to connect with you right here personally. So this is really important. What's authority branding? It's where you associate with the right people. It's like human experience 101 meets business. Like associate with the folks you want to be associated with, okay? Make sure they're authentic industry experts, that they're not scamming or spamming people, and you should be good to go when it comes to associating with your power partners, okay? Tell the origin story. Christine, I know we're running a little behind on our presentation today, but do you want to share a little bit of your background with an aha moment and kind of why and how you help the people you serve? You want to share a little bit of your story?
Oh, goodness. It's been a while. I'm rusty, Timothy, but okay, let's see. So, background with the aha moment and why you help who you have, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, I've always helped. That's just kind of something that I do. My background's teaching. I love teaching college. I love being able to help people. That's just part of who I am. And I took some time off to have my kids. And then when I was entering the workspace, I was like, what am I going to do now, right? And it just was all of a sudden I was at a networking meeting, which I'd never experienced in my life. And I noticed everybody kept asking me for communication advice, marketing advice, right? How do I do this? How do I get the word out? And it just came to me naturally. And I was like, why am I not getting paid for this? Hello.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And ta-da, the networking diva emerged. And I've been having a blast ever since, right? That's what I do, is helping people. And marketing is just and coaching is the way that I get to do it. It's so much fun. I love what I do.
That's an origin story, ladies and gentlemen. It was almost like it was perfection, actually. The way that she just naturally just shared that. It's in you. We're pulling it out of you right now. It's in all of us. And listen, I'll share my story another time. I've shared it many times in some of these presentations and different things, and I might even share it toward the end if we have time. But some kind of background with an aha moment. Let people know why you're doing what you're doing and who you're called to serve. I know Christine Deane loves to serve the causes and those companies, kind of doing good in the world. There's a philanthropic edge, and so there's a persona that starts forming as you practice your origin story, your short elevator story. That we want to encourage you to do that. So here's your action assignment. Post a 1-minute video. Christine Deane just did it, so her action assignment's done for the day. No, she's done it many times, but post a 1-minute intro video and practice and practice and practice until you get it to where, oh, okay, that sounds pretty good. And put it in the group for us to give you feedback and get to know you a little bit better. We love hearing your origin story. We don't forget origin story. We might forget your company name, but we won't forget your origin story. Think about that for just a second. The memorability factor of doing this is going to be huge. Whether you're at a networking meeting and you need to stand up and share something, or you're getting ready for a podcast, or you want to put a video out there to let people know who you are and what you're about, the origin story comes into play. If you don't know what to say in a conversation, just share your origin story, because that people get interested and they start asking you questions. And then ask other people for their story too. That's super fun. Okay, so that's branding. Let's move to visibility as quickly as we can. All right, so let's help people find your brand. Let's help people find your company. Okay. One way to do that is do some exercises. Search for yourself online in guest mode, or incognito mode. Make sure you're listed properly on some of the platforms and directories that your audience is going to be on. Make sure your website is up to date and your digital real estate looks kept up. Go to our directory tool, see how that's how you're playing with Google right now, and see if you're being searched properly and if the information is consistent across the board. Go to givermarketing.com/visibility. By the way, this is your action assignment. So go ahead and write this down, givermarketing.com/visibility, and let us know what results you get. You'll end up at a page like this, fill out your information, and voila. You're looking for a 0 error rate on that tool. Okay, so givermarketing.com/visibility will get you to your action assignment for this section of the training. Okay. Also, if you want to have some fun getting more reviews online, hey, we're the highest rated reviewed network of marketing professionals on the planet because of this tool and a few other things. Okay. This tool right here is where it's at. Like, you want to check this out. givermarketing.com/gbox. It'll help you set up an easy way for people to give you kind words online. And actually, if you can go to givermarketing.com/kind words, you'll see an example of this. And while you're there, say some nice things about what you've learned today, and we would really appreciate it. givermarketing.com/kind words will give you an example of what this tool will help you do. Okay. And like I say, we really appreciate your ability to write a few sentences about what you've learned today and how we work together. Okay. All right. So again, here's the tool. Take a screenshot if you need to. All it's going to do is make it easy for people to give you Google reviews. And if you have any issues, or maybe it's too confusing to set it up for some reason, just reach out to Christine Deane, myself, one of the team members at Giver Marketing Network, and we'll be able to help you. Okay. Don't forget about those physical pieces, the lettering on your vehicle, the sign out in front of your office, the different ways that banners out at the ballpark, or whatever you decide to do as far as physical signage. Make sure it's really clear where to go, what to call, how to text, like those kind of things, and you should be good. And your micro assignment for visibility is make sure and post a screenshot of your visibility scan, or at least the link that it gives you. Okay, so givermarketing.com/visibility will get you to that tool. And then you can post it in the group. That'll be fun. All right, promotion. We're cooking with grease. Christine, I'm using that. I'm going with the food analogy. Here we go. Promotion. This is the third piece. Promotion matters, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say it this way too. If you don't do your branding and visibility well, promotion will not be as effective, especially if you start spamming people. We don't want spamming's not allowed. Okay, please stop it. It's not classy. It doesn't produce the results you think. You attract the wrong people. You end up with clients, customers you don't want. So stop it. Like, don't do that. Just be classy with it. So inform them, give a call to action. Make sure that they know that you're around, that you're alive, that you're in business. Give them a clear next step. Engage with them properly. Make sure you don't leave the conversations just hanging. Make sure that people feel nurtured even before they make a decision. So start engaging even at this early stage. Measure your results. Start with a goal in mind, then work backwards. If you need 10 new clients or 10 new customers or 10 new visitors or whatever it is, you're probably going to need to talk to at least 100 people and set up appointments. Or you need to be in front of at least 1,000 people so they know where the event is. So there's numbers that you can reverse engineer. And it's interesting how it breaks down to, 10% of this will produce this, and then you take those 10% and it produces this, and then those 10% will become your customers. And it's just amazing. Sometimes you can increase that dramatically with just a really sweet marketing campaign. But generally speaking, if you can reverse engineer those numbers, you end up with what you want. The problem is we end up telling like 14 people about what we're doing, and we're expecting to get 4 customers. That's not how it works.
And remember, your success is going to be so much higher when you're in front of the right people. Like we talked about early on with the who, right? You can tell 100 people, but if they're not your ideal clients anyway, your number is going to be really low. So learning that this is why we say there's an order to this, right? And following the steps to get where you are. You're going to be much more effective if you put the thought into it ahead of time.
Come on. I love that. And listen, ultimately, you have to put your name out there. There's a quality of this that Christine just mentioned. There's a quantity to it. So you need more than a handful of people who know that you're in business. You need to really get serious about tracking what you're doing and experimenting so that you can have success and you're not a best kept secret. Okay. All right. So here's some pieces that almost every business considers at one point or another. Almost every organization considers how do we get more referrals and make that predictable? How do we have events and print and online and like audio experience and a video experience that they just really love? And of course, I love the acrostics. So this is our report checklist, or the report method of evaluating our promotion. And people say, why is referrals on there? I didn't know that was marketing. Hello, that's like the foundation of marketing. Every healthy business has that. So put that into the mix. Ask people, track it, get it predictable. I can tell you right now that on any given year, 300 referrals come into our network. I can just tell you right now. And that breaks down to, what's the numbers on that per month? Was that 25 per month, something like that? So we know exactly how many to predict per month, at least per year. And so we have these campaigns always going, asking for referrals, giving referrals, doing these kind of things to help each other. So if you don't have a referral strategy, then that's step number 1. Just start with that, and then go into some of these other pieces that complement that. We're not going to go through every single piece here just for sake of time, but we can tell you that we do not exclude print. We do believe in print. It's just got to be done very specifically, very, very targeted, and it's got to be extremely impactful. Okay, you can see on the screen we're referencing some successful print campaigns that even happen in today's world, and they're oftentimes complemented with online activities as well. But ultimately, you want to have this mix that works for your organization. Okay, always bring high energy, bring your story to the game, share that on audio experiences and video experiences of some kind, and you will be rocking it. Okay, you won't regret sharing your story on audio and video. I can tell you that, because people will be asking you a lot of questions. So post something in our group. Make sure there's something that a business card, a video you've done, some kind of interview you've done, some kind of flyer you've created, anything that we just referenced, even your referral strategy, like post that within the group and label it as your promotion micro assignment, and we'll give you a check mark on that. All right. Ready, Christine? Going in for the turn. Here we go.
Go for it.
What's the last piece? The last piece. We've covered branding, visibility, and promotion. Well, let's not forget to follow up. How do we follow up with people coming into our pipeline? Like what do we do? Let's engage with them well. Let's make sure they're not treated as just a number that came into our system. Let's treat them like with class. Let's go into the 7 marketing moments. And ultimately, when it comes down to nurturing, you want to be able to make sure and connect with them before, during, and after the sale. There's a follow-up process, but we're specifically talking about right before the sale. So 80% of sales or decision meetings happen after a handful of interactions. So that means it's not 1 or 2 touches and done. It's not 1 or 2 conversations and done, 1 or 2 interactions and done. We got to have not only the introductions where you're kind of slowly getting into their heart and mind through story, but you also grab their information, send them a follow-up email. Hey, it was great connecting. Maybe ask a question, give some call to action, connect with them on social media. Make sure they feel like they're connected to, because they are. They're your people. That's who you're called to. Like, don't make them feel like a distant number that you're just trying to chase, or a distant conversation that you're hoping they come to you. Meet them halfway. Connect with them. Give something they value. If they mention something on one of their posts or in a conversation with you, or you notice something about their organization, give them something that would really bless them, would really help them. And this is not requiring that they do business with you. It's just, hey, I want to be remembered. Sometimes it's just giving a card saying, hey, it was great connecting with you, and sending them something, a gift in the mail or something. Like it could be very simple. Invite them somewhere you're already going to be. If you're a networking diva like Christine Deane is, and you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or you're one of the other hot spots she's traveling to all the time, invite people to where you don't even have to be a guest speaker or a speaker at the event. Just invite them to where you're going to be. I was at a little event in Sacramento recently, and I invited 3 or 4 people, and half of them showed up. So, a couple of them showed up. So that was fun, because then we got to hang out a little bit afterwards. It brings legitimacy, connection. You're also seen as kind of like an influencer for that event. Like there's just a lot of bonuses and pluses to inviting people to either in-person or online experiences of some kind. So I can tell you that there's like a triple positive to inviting people to places like that. Okay, personal note. Like I said, send something through snail mail. Send a text message. Hey, thanks for taking that call today. Like, that was super fun. We should set up a part 2. Just little notes, like you would with a friend. Like, hey, next time, we should consider talking about this. Like, just text them like it's somebody you actually want to get to know, because you need to get to know your customers and clients. If you don't get to know them, they won't stick around very long anyway. So connect with them as if you're going to get to know at least some basic things about them. You already know some things, but you want to get them to know them better. Phone call. Prepare great questions. Even if it's a short Zoom chat, let's say a 15-minute Zoom or a 10-minute phone call, prepare great questions. Give 2 options for next steps. Ask them, hey, do you have any questions for me? Don't leave voicemails. Ladies and gentlemen, type it in the chat box. Type it in the comments. Don't leave long voicemails unless there's a really good reason. Like, just don't do it. In our modern era, this is not socially acceptable with rare exception. Okay. All right. Nurturing micro assignment before we get into the roundtable discussion. We're landing the plane, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure and get that nurturing sequence. What are the 4, 5, 6, 7 things that you do in a perfect world? Your clients and customers experience these things 90% of the time or more. Okay. There's an introduction, and then what comes after that? In fact, include introduction, because introduction, then I send them an email, then we set up an appointment, then we do this. What's the sequence of follow-up that lets them feel like, oh, there's a connection being made here? Put that in the group. We'd love to see that. We'd like to learn more about your process. We also are able to give you more referrals if we know your nurturing sequence. If we know what happens after we make the referral, we know how to set that up. So put that in. the group, and we should be able to give you some feedback, possibly even send you some people your direction. Move at the speed of trust. Don't forget to ask for the sale when the good fit is established. And here's your action assignments for this training today, ladies and gentlemen. Take a screenshot, and that should trigger your memory to be able to share with us at least some pieces that you're working on within your organization or business. That is the Giver Marketing Blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat box, put them in the comments. We're lighting up the comments even as we go, so we're glad to be able to circle back with you. You're also welcome to jump into the Giver Marketing group page or the group that we have on Facebook right now. And you'll always be able to get there through givermarketing.com/group. Okay, that's an easy way to do that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look, that was the Giver Marketing Blueprint in 45 minutes. Christine, how do you think we did? I mean, it got really fast.
Oh, that was a quick one. Yeah. And any one of those areas, I'm sure if you go to our YouTube channel for Giver Marketing Network, you will be able to find an in-depth, at least, hour training on each one of those. And you could break that down even further, right? Because marketing is so detailed. So if any of that was too fast for you and you want to have a conversation with one of us, that's what our coaches are here for. Reach out, have a conversation, and we love to answer questions. We love to get you started on the right foot and running. I think we have another marketer in the back arena if we want to pull in real quick and say hi.
If she gives us a thumbs up, we'll bring her out on stage. If she doesn't, then we'll just chill. We'll just relax.
I think she was coming in. Hey, Anna.
All right. Anna's coming in. Here we go. Thumbs
there we
up.
Go.
Let's go. So we have our 4 pieces of the Giver Marketing Blueprint, right? We have branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing. In that order is what we recommend evaluating and improving so that we can get all the results that we would hope for. What stood out to us here? Like what do we need to work on? Let's get humble and transparent here. Let's just share, because we're always improving. Okay. Just because we're training on something doesn't mean we don't need to work on something, right? Like, so what is it that we might take away with and take some action on even today? What stood out to us?
I think the biggest thing is being consistent with your branding. It's not just enough to have your brand. You need to be consistent. And that's how you build trust. That's how you build authority. And it's all about putting those 2 things together. Once you have that, then you can start bringing in your marketing, start working in with going for sales. Once you know who you are, have that foundation, and know how to consistently say it over and over and over. It's hard. I say the same 30-second intro all the time, and I still have to pause sometimes and go, okay, what goes after that word? But eventually, 20 years from now, I'm going to have it down. But it's just plugging away, doing it every time, and smiling through the ads and the ums and the ohs, and do it with a smile. People like you, see you're human, and want to work with you.
Hey, I love the fact that you're bringing up branding as a place of importance, because I remember talking to you, Anna, and hearing a little bit of your story, and I was like, I'm in. Like, let's just work together. Like, let's just figure it out. Same with you, Christine, and I'm sure there's other members that can say they've met you and had the same experience. And you just don't forget when somebody shares that story consistently, and you start hearing little nuances that maybe are different every time you hear it, but it's still the same core background. Like, I always share, I was in the nonprofit space for years. I ended up buying, selling, building some businesses along the way, but I got really frustrated. I didn't know who to trust when it came to marketing, and I ended up burning out because I was saying yes to so many projects from a business standpoint and nonprofit leadership standpoint. So I made a shift. for a couple of reasons. But ultimately, I felt called to work with causes and companies doing good in the world, first as a coach. And then they started asking me to be a fractional CMO. And then this Giver Marketing Network started really blossoming. So we had all this talent on demand. And I haven't looked back. Like, it's been just an amazing ride of serving clients that actually appreciate it, because we're coming at it with a classy approach. And that's my heart, is to bring the classy components back to the marketing and communication world. And that's why we say we're a no spam organization, because, there's idiots in every industry. We just want to be the good guys and gals. One of our taglines is marketing for good. And so that was longer than a minute, but that's my origin story, plus a little bit of spice on top of it, right? And so when you're able to share something like that in a podcast, a broadcast, an event, a room, even on video, and just practice that yourself for a phone call, like, all of these pieces start coming together around that story and your brand. Talk to Anna about your brand. She has some foundational pieces. I'd love to even hear, Anna, just organically, not like scripted per se, but organically, like, how would you share your story with somebody you're just on the phone with? Like, what do you share with them? Not what you do, but necessarily as the focus, but what's your background? I'd love to hear it, just even here. Like, I've heard it before, but I want to hear it again. Like, I want to hear your story.
I haven't heard it yet.
Okay.
I'm being real. I want to hear it. Like, it's so fun to share stories. So, Anna, what's your background? Like, what brought you to do what you're doing?
Well, I actually have 2 degrees, one in studio art and then one in interior design and architecture. I was going to go into healthcare design, and halfway through my second degree, the market collapsed and you couldn't get a job with 20 years of experience. I moved back home to my small town, kicking and screaming. I was not happy about it. And turns out my hometown got really cool while I was away at college. And I eventually started working for a local carpet company, designing very, very ugly carpet for hotels and country clubs all over the world. I did that for several years as their senior designer and thought, well, the next logical step is management. No, the next logical step was not management. That was more like babysitting adults. It was not fun. And I realized in the middle of the pandemic, I'm miserable. I'm not happy. I need to be doing something creative. And I'm also a self-published author, and I thought just writing would be enough. But I realized I've got to be writing and creating. I can't do one or the other. It's got to be both. And that's how my business really came to be. And I started out doing a little bit of everything for everybody because I thought niche was a dirty word. I must apologize to my writing coach. It's not a dirty word. I've niched down. It happened. Don't tell him that, because I don't want him to be right. And I see the importance of finding your people, finding your tribe, and then doing great things together. And that's my goal. I want to find my tribe and create beautiful, amazing things.
And it's so fun to work with you because your design mind informs how a company or an organization can really stand out from a crowd and really come to the surface. And so if anybody wants to learn the foundations of branding and how that relates to writing and imagery and design and all these different things, talk to Anna, because she's someone that you'll really connect with. She's not going to come over the top and like start yelling at you. She's very sweet. She's like the sweet branding queen, like, that kind of vibe, right? It's like you just want more of that conversation. For some reason, I just trust you. Like, I just want to work with you. So when it comes to these kind of things, ladies and gentlemen, what we went over today is just the foundations. This is just the flyover, so you get your mind right to work with Anna or Christine or Joel or whoever else it is within this network. and we all have our superpowers, and we all have our styles, we all have our backgrounds, and we all have our ways. And by the way, marketing is more than like ads.
Mhm.
So everything we covered today was some version of marketing, communications, or media. Like it was all, these are all cousins. They all work together. And so in our world, because it's pre-sales communication, everything we talked about today was part of a marketing experience. And the first impression is what? Your brand. It's your first
And
impression.
I just want to say, like, when your brand is on point, you are drawing in the right people. Like Anna said about, bringing your tribe, right? You are literally just pulling them towards you. And now think about it. Imagine being able to work constantly within your ideal clients, within your ideal space, within your ideal industry, right? Wow. Every day you get to work and you're like, is this really work? I am loving what I'm doing. I'm loving who I get to interact with. I'm loving everything about my business now. Why? Because your brand is on point and you're drawing in those right people. And oh my goodness, it's such a game changer.
Love this. Hey, as we wrap up, ladies, I wanted to mention something. Usually we wait to do this after we kind of end the live stream, but I just want to affirm something right now. Everybody on the broadcast has a clear video. We have our eyes above the middle section of the frame. Our background isn't super distracting or weird or like there's not like dogs running around and like no, the sound is good. Christine's like, yeah, they do run around sometimes, but like the dog's sitting there and quiet, so we're good. But I'm just saying, and you could always mute yourself, right? So that's not a problem. But I'm just saying, within reason, what you're seeing on the screen is just some normal people getting on a broadcast, having a conversation, and taking our first impression or our brand seriously from a video standpoint. So this is an example. Look, there's different even styles you see here. Definitely different styles, but we're all functioning in some basic principles like sight, sound, and making sure everything's clear. Like sight and sound is like non-negotiable. Like we have to make sure that if you're grabbing a phone call or a Zoom chat and you're just not in a good area, either postpone the phone call or Zoom chat and get in the right area so you have a strong signal, because that's part of your brand, how people hear you and how clear everything is and how crisp everything is. Doesn't have to be perfect every time. It just try to take it to that next level as often as you can, and people will be like, I can trust this person. Like they're clearly communicating with me. I can see them. I can see their facial expressions. I can hear the tones in their voice. I can, like, all of this wraps around these conversations of building trust. And ultimately, as we kind of land the plane here, we want people to know, like, and trust us. So all of this builds that rapport and that trust so that when you come into a decision meeting, they're basically excited to like figure out how to work together. Like that's like they're asking you how to work together. Like you're not forcing anything. Like you're just making sure it's a good fit. It's a mutual interview, and then you start working together. It's a business exchange. Business is a two-way street, not a one-way street. Business is a two-way street. Mutual value being presented. Let's play together. Let's run together. Like let's do this. So with that, God bless you guys. We'll see you soon. Christine, do you want to mention the Wednesday networking and connecting? And this is for members and non-members. If you're in the marketing, communications, or media space, right? Marketing, communications, or media. If you're in that space at all, like if you work with people before the sale in any way, shape, or form, come to this networking meeting. Let's talk marketing, communications, media. Like, how do we work together? These kind of things. And you just register once, right, Christine? And then
register once, save the link, show up, and have some fun with us. It's just a couple marketers hanging out, having real conversations, answering questions. rising the tide for everybody. It's a great space because a lot of times, as if you're a solopreneur, right, you miss having somebody to bounce ideas off of, or right. So it's a great space for that, where we can kind of help each other, talk about white labeling opportunities, ways to increase your income. I mean, so we like to help. So come hang out, givermarketing.com/networking, and we will see you tomorrow.
A lot of people ask, how do I join the Giver Marketing Network? Like, this seems really fun. Come check that event out this coming Wednesday, and you'll get to meet Christine on a deeper level and some other things and some other members and non-members. And we're just trying to help you. We're just trying to help each other, really, at the end of the day. So taste that, see if you like it, and then Christine will let you know how to join if you want to do that. But either way, we look forward to seeing you there. So that'll be fun. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.